is their Cordoba creator of the Leicester equaliser. El Khanous, how much room does he have here? El Khanous going for goal, and he finds it as well. What a turnaround here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
4 minutes, Leicester have soaked up so much pressure. Patawi jinking feet to get beyond his man, and the header from Jamie Vardy makes it 2.
It's Wood should score. Wood was Knockout. Yes, yes, and Knockout has done it.
Tielemans lining one up. What a goal! What a brilliant goal by Yuri Tielemans! And the Leicester City fans go absolutely potty.
In behind Damian Manny. It's 11. It's heaven for Jamie Vardy. Hold the back page. Hold the front page. A Leicester player has smashed the record.
Hello and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses. It is Monday. It's Monday night at 7 o'clock, which means it's time for the fans call-in show. If you are new around here, it's your chance to come and have your say about literally anything and everything you want relating to Leicester City. You could talk about the game that we just had literally less than 24 hours ago. You could talk about the next game, which is in 2 weeks' time, or you could talk about the manager. You could talk about Victor Christiansen, seeing as though we've got our favourite Dane on screen. Come and have your say. The link is in the description. It's also in the live chat. Doc, how you doing, mate? Nice to have you on.
I'm happy to be here. Anil's been sacked for today, right? Or is on a little bit of a leave, so I'm happy to take his place and hear what the general mood in the squad is. Had a horrible Sunday. My teams went 0 for 3. My local, the city I grew up in. I went and watched the game with my uncle. They lost. Went home, watched Copenhagen play with my dad. They lost. Got on the train to get home to my apartment. Watched Leicester. They lost. A horrible day for football, and I think the Leicester result in particular felt very telling of, I normally describe myself as hopelessly optimistic, and that's gone now. I've accepted reality. We are going down, and I'm excited to hear what people have to say about the situation.
100%, I totally agree. Let me see who is here in the chat, even to you, Mark, JC, Kunal as well, Mr. Magoom, James Whale, hello to you, mate. Gray, always here, hello to you. Jack, get in the link, mate. The link's out there. Click the link. Come and have a say. And Azola as well. No, man, this team is very poor. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be wanting to talk about how bad we are, unfortunately. Kate is here too. And so is Craig. Craig, what are you doing, mate? There's the link. Click the link, Craig. Come and have your say. Right. We're going to start this week with Mr. Cinema himself. It's Ross. So prepare yourself, everybody. God knows what he's going to bring this week. Just quickly, actually, Ant says it's a waste of time sacking Ruud. Now we are gone. Get someone else in for next season. Absolutely awful manager. Again, Ant, you know where the link is? Come and have your say. Right, let's get Ross in for the first caller of the day. Hello,
Good
mate.
evening.
How's it going?
Listen, you must be that important because I paused Monday Night Raw for you. So, it's live in Belgium. So
Is Cena out yet?
No, I paused it because I thought I'd come
Okay.
on this first. So you must be that important if I paused it. I don't usually do that. Hello,
Yeah.
me duck. How you doing? You all right?
I'm doing good. How are you, Ross? How are you feeling?
Yeah, well, how are we feeling? This is where the fun begins. No, I'm afraid. No fish fillets, I'm afraid.
No.
Oh, right. Oh, God, where do we begin? Have you ever watched the film Shawshank Redemption?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great film, great movie.
Have you ever seen it where it goes, day 85 in the prison? It's going to be, do you know what it is going to be? Day 99 without scoring a goal at home in the Premier League. Because I've got my green screens back, locks, by the way.
What have you got for us today?
This week, I have this. Right.
Let's see.
Basically, the last time we scored a home goal, the next time we play at home in the league. Look how many days. It's exactly 4 months.
That's 1/3 of a year.
But yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So
That is bigger than what's the gap between like when the season ends and the new season started. So basically, we're a
2
whole
months, innit?
summer. Yeah, we're like imagine, all the years we've been watching football. When the last game finishes and the first game of the next season starts, it's been longer than that since we scored a home goal.
Do you know what? And look at our next 2 home games. Newcastle, who's won the League Cup. Congratulations to them. And Liverpool. Now, obviously, I was talking to the Whistle earlier, and basically, if Wolves collect, I think it's about 7 points in the next 3 games, and we lose all 3, I think we'll be down. Either Wolves can relegate us, or we might be down before Brighton or Liverpool, something like that. I don't know. Without going mathematically and all that stuff.
Doc, let me ask you, mate. Are you like 100% certain we're going down, Doc? Yeah, you're 100% certain.
I'm at 95. Something miraculous has to happen because, as Ross say, right? Like if we don't perform in our now very tough fixtures, we are gonna be automatically relegated before we get to the easy fixtures. Or for us, there are no easy fixtures, but the Ipswich, Southamptons, and the Wolf game, right? So we need to pick up points. And I mean, Ross said it, right? Newcastle at home, Liverpool at home. I think we have a Man City in there as well. Definitely not easy fixtures to get points. Yeah, I mean, how are we going to get points from that when we can't get points from anyone at this point?
Do you know what makes it worse as well? Top flight record. 7 goal games without scoring a goal. Well, it's going to be 8 and 9 because it's Newcastle and Liverpool. Do you know what it could be really, really, really bad? We play Southampton for the 10th one.
Well, we've got Forest. We've got Forest at some point. Can you imagine that is the game?
No,
that's the game. We're relegated.
Listen, Locks Moustache. We will be down before Forest, right? Now, a lot of fans in the day, they say they're not bothered about us. But if you say to a Forest fan at the beginning of the season, you're going to reach Champions League, right? But it means you have to relegate Leicester and class them as your rivals. They would 100% take that any day. I'd rather go down against Wolves or Liverpool, just not at Forest. Well, I'd rather be down beforehand.
Let me ask you, Doc. Let me ask you this, Doc. Right? Would you rather it just get done and dusted ASAP, or because can you imagine Wolves now don't win a game, and we obviously don't win any games, and it just goes on and on and on. Would you rather it just be done and dusted? Wolves win the next 3, sorted. We're down. That's it.
If you asked me 24 hours ago when I sent a message in the group chat saying, call the season off, I can't do this anymore, my answer would have been yes. But the further we get from the game, it is the hope that kills you, right? But I feel like you need to have hope as well. As long as it's mathematically possible, I'll hold on to hope. But I mean, it's a slither, man.
You remind me of the Danish version of Ty from Arsenal Fan TV.
That's an insult. That's not.
Well, what I mean is, I don't mean about the delusion stuff. I don't mean that. I'm on about until it's not mathematically possible. But I just want to point out a few things before I go back to Raw. Højlund, in the time that we've not scored a home goal, Højlund didn't score in that time, and neither did Garnacho. So between us last scoring a home goal and last night, them 2 players didn't score a goal for 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Until
Leicester
last night. And I mean, you just knew the writing was on the wall. You just knew as soon as Sky Sports, BBC, all them put that stat up that Højlund's not scored in 23 games, upstep Leicester. There's 3 things guaranteed in life now at the minute: death, taxes, and Leicester losing at home without scoring. That's exactly what's happening at the minute. And your tagline, Ruud out. Oh, absolutely. And who would I have? Put Andy King in charge till the end of the season. I said this on your show a few weeks ago. Doesn't matter now. We basically gave up. We've literally gave up. And I think it's sad. It's heartbreaking, And I would say, I watched it with my dad last night, and the worst game I've ever seen Soumaré play, I thought Junior Lewis has stole his identity last night. Absolutely horrendous. Worst game for El Canoes. Absolutely shocking. That was his worst game for Leicester in a shirt. There was everything so bad about that game last night. Just another point out, we've lost to the worst Manchester United side in our recent history.
4 times.
4 times. Once is bad enough.
I've got one more question for you both. Doc, we kind of joked about this on the watch along last night. El Canoes, no one's blaming him, obviously, for what's going on. He's been one of the shining lights this season. but with his poor performance, because they have been poor recently as well, he's been a part of it. Is there a chance maybe if he doesn't, end this season really well, we could somehow keep hold of him in the championship?
I hope so, right? We just signed him on a long deal in the summer. He could definitely leave, especially I think if we need it for FFP, right? He's the second most obvious candidate right behind Mads Hermansen. So I think it's very likely he's gone, but with the levels he's been putting in recently, I doubt we'll get the value we want from him. So if we aren't forced to sell him, I think the club wants to hold on to him. He seems to like to be here as well, fighting for the badge, although his levels have been dropping with the rest of the team in recent weeks.
Ross.
Come.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Ross, like we paid, isn't it rising to 20 or rising to 25? One of the two, right, for El Kanoush. So if we can't get that back, surely the club put their foot down and say, he ain't going anywhere until someone hits 30 million.
This is the problem with Tielemans and stuff. He wanted to go a year or two prior, and obviously we were a bit and ahhing, and stuff, and then he ended up going for free. Look at all the players who signed over the last few years that have gone for free.
But El Kanoush is 4 years away from that, That's
right, okay, that's
years
fine.
down the line.
Fair enough. All right, fair enough then. So if we're going to sell him, obviously there's a big price tag on there. And obviously, Mads, let's be honest, he'll be a Chelsea goalkeeper next season. Let's be honest. Chelsea, with the feeder club to Chelsea, and at the minute, Sheffield United. Mm-hmm. I just want to bring up one more thing before I go. Hamza Chowdhury. Why in God's earth did we let him go out on loan? We've got our defence is more leaky than a tap, right? We can't defend or anything. But yeah, that guy he wasn't the best player, but my God, he gave 100% every game that he did. Right back, central.
But so does Victor Christiansen. Christiansen gives it his all, mate. But
does he? I mean, I understand. I know. Obviously, goes to the hair salon and dyes his hair blonde now and again, being a Ronan Keaton wannabe. But Hamza Chowdhury is a workhorse. He knows the club inside out. But yeah,
he lacks quality, though, Ross. Isn't it? That's the problem this season.
I think they all lack quality. That's the problem for all of them.
Quality? You mad? Have you seen our defense?
I think you've got a point there, Ross. But I'll say as well. I think they are all lacking quality. I've seen a lot of shouts of Ben Nelson. I think Ben Nelson had a lot of potential, but has never kicked a ball in the Premier League. I mean, I'd love to see him play because he's a part of our future, I think, especially when we go down.
Honestly, I'm so baffled that he's gone. You see, he's a workhorse. And not just that, and he's not awful. I disagree. Yesterday he's been good at Sheffield United. I watched that Steel City derby yesterday, probably getting tackles in and everything. And Sheffield United fans, obviously I've been from Sheffield, saying, why did you let him go out on loan? I said, mate, I'm asking the same question.
Ross, what I would say is I understand letting him go, but the loan, I think the loan side of it's the weird thing, because if you're going to loan him out, you may as well keep him. It's not like you're sending him out to develop. You're not doing that with Hamza Chowdhury. You're doing it to get him away, and maybe he wants to play some more football. But next season, Ross, depending on our situation, if there's transfer embargoes and stuff like that, we might have no choice but to keep him.
Oh, no,
however, I know. I'm saying I think the likelihood is Sheffield United will probably just pay for him in the summer. I think that's probably what will happen.
They have an option to buy, right? Yeah.
Well, they might it depends on obviously. The thing is, these comments, right, are two left feet and stuff. You'd have anybody with a right mind would have Hamza Chowdhury back in that side at this moment, without a doubt. Justin's not his worst season ever. Faz. I mean, we're not going to go into that. Vestergaard, I stuck up for him last season, and now I'm sorry, he's awful. Connor Cody spends more time on radio than he does playing at time. Christiansen, he's the Danny Ward of the year we got relegated.
Danny Ward is crazy.
Doesn't matter how bad he is. Sorry, Duck, I know he's your Danish pal and that, but the fact is, the fact that he gets in the squad is the biggest mystery of all time. Because he's bad. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Ross. That is, I think you could call him so many things, and I think there are a few things you can say. Danny Ward was single-handedly the reason we went down. It felt like 80% of the reason when we went down last time. I don't think you can put that on Christiansen. I think
I'm not saying all of them, but no, what I mean is the fact that he's actually in the side. That's what I mean. I don't mean all on him. That's what I mean. The fact that he's basically the version when Danny Ward was playing and obviously was so bad. And obviously, it's not all on Christensen; it's on all the players. But what I mean is, how on earth is he in that squad?
I don't think Vestergaard's been the worst defender this season. I don't think he has been.
Vestergaard,
Fast is the worst.
I mean, Fast, yeah, he's given
Fast.
away. They've all given away blunders. I think that's the problem, right? The more you look into it, you can point at pretty much every player and say 3, 4, 5 moments where they've let us down, where they've cost a goal, where they've missed an open net or whatever. Like it's pretty much everyone, and I think that's the big trouble, right? The squad just doesn't have the quality.
But
Yeah, right, Ross.
You have Andy King in for the first team, get moved out. So till the end of the season, just until the end of the season.
Okay, Ross. We'll see you next week. Enjoy Monday Night Raw, mate. Cheers, Ross. There's a question here or a comment here. We had a 5-point lead over Wolves. Then in comes Danny. You could say we had a 5-point lead over Wolves. Then comes in Ruud van Nistelrooy. You could say that as well, to be honest with you. And there's a lot of factors.
5 points, I think, Ruud van Nistelrooy. I mean, maybe if you believe in curses, it could be the Danny Ward curse, right? Because as soon as he got minutes, since then we've only gotten 3 points in the league, and that was in mid-December. So a lot of things can be said. I think you can't point at an individual here saying you've costed our season. I think in general the squad is just not good enough to be in the Premier League, and yeah, I don't want to scapegoat just the one individual because it is just a collective letdown. Regardless, Lux, who do we have up next?
We have up next, all the way. I think is it South? I'm sure it's South Africa. Is it South Africa? Get the thumbs up. It is. All the way from South Africa, it's Ethan in his Barcelona
what's up, boys?
shirt. What's going on, man?
Listen. I said last week, if Leicester win, I'll bring out the Leicester shirt. They didn't win, so I have to bring out the Barcelona shirt.
And Barcelona did win, nice comeback.
They
with
did win.
Lamine Yamal, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you must have enjoyed that game more than you enjoyed the Leicester game, surely, right?
Couldn't watch either of them. I had to study.
And
I'm glad I missed the Leicester game because I saw Højlund got an assist. Oh no, he scored.
Yeah, he scored.
Yeah, I'm glad I missed that one. It's the most obvious thing. Leicester is charity FC at the moment. Højlund scored for the first time in 4 months. Garnacho's last Premier League goal was against us. He scores again.
He should have had 2 as well, man. I mean, it was a shocker.
But I actually wanted to talk a little bit about Barcelona today because I think Barcelona are a club that have identity and Leicester are a team that don't have identity, right? So in business, because I'm studying business, you have to analyze your competition, right? If you want to be the best of the best, you have to learn from them. And so what I learned from Barcelona is that they have an identity and that they have a way of integrating young players into the first team, right? There's a clear pathway. And at the moment, I think we need to implement that at Leicester. You look at the under-21s, the under-18s at the moment, they're the only real nice things about Leicester at the moment. And I think they deserve a chance in the first team over some of these guys.
I think you're bringing up a very good conversation there as well, right? It's something we're seeing a lot of clubs do with success. I want to point at Copenhagen. They've been doing it as well with their academy. They focused a lot on these past 10 years. And my time as a Leicester fan, the youth teams have never been phenomenal. But within this past year, right, that has definitely changed. So if we were to go towards more that route and giving more of these guys playing time, what do you think would be the steps we need to take that? Because, I mean, we have managers now who, work with youth teams. Van Nistelrooy been at PSV youth teams. Steve Cooper was at, the England U17s. I think he won the World Cup with them. So, like, what more do we need to have someone who's able to, create that pathway?
It starts from the top, the director of football. I think you have to have someone that's willing to take a chance with younger guys, and as well as a manager. And everyone needs to really align the ideas, right? You need to have one clear vision. And I feel like, especially over the last 2 years, you go from Dean Smith to Enzo to Cooper, now to Van Nistelrooy. That vision's been a bit blurry, and you can see there's a bit of conflict behind the scenes. So you just need to get everyone kind of on board, I think.
And it's strange because you talk about... Well, I was going to say, you talk about the managers, Doc. You named, obviously, Cooper and Van Nistelrooy, who have got experience working with these young players, but the director of football, who you just mentioned, John Rudkin, he also has that experience. He was an academy coach. He used to look after the young academy players as well. He used to go over abroad to tournaments with them. So it's a little bit confusing why he doesn't seem to have a a more positive approach on that. I mean, you look at Will Alves. He wasn't sent on loan last summer. He just wasted away in the back, in the reserves, basically the under-21s as well for us for 6 months, and then we sent him out on loan. Surely Steve Cooper had an idea last summer whether he was going to use him much or not. I mean, he was away for the friendlies. I think he maybe made one appearance. I think he made a League Cup appearance as well. And there just seems to be no plan. There seems to be no plan. I mean, I think they accidentally stumbled upon Dewsbury Hall, to be honest with you. Of course, they knew he was good, but they sent him on loan to Luton. He had an incredible season, which surprised quite a lot of people. And then obviously Brendan Rodgers said, right, I'm giving you a chance. So I agree completely. There doesn't seem to be this clear pathway. And the fact that we are facing a robbery from Man City for Jeremy Monga, I don't understand why we haven't used him yet, at least on the bench. I know he was on the bench in the FA Cup, but why haven't we brought him on for 5 minutes here or there? I mean, we were 3-0 down against Man United. That would have been a good time just to throw him on. People will say, oh, it's a tough environment to put him into, but Radio Leicester's Matt Piper himself, who was in that very situation, he was a kid. Leicester City were facing relegation. He was brought on. And the crowd weren't getting at him because he was a kid and he maybe missed a chance. They were actually getting behind him because he was the only one that they had a bit of hope in. So I think that's what the club now should do. I don't know about you, Doc, about how we should use Monga and Evans and whoever else.
I agree. I mean, it's something I want to hear from my callers as well today, right? Because the situation is very bleak. I think a lot of us feel disassociated with Leicester. And I very much want to know from the guys we have coming on, if there was one thing that could happen, outside of winning all our games for the remainder of the season, one thing you could change, a player coming in or a tactical change or whatever, what would it be for you to get, some hope back into the future of the club, even if we go down?
One thing I changed. I'd probably want more communication from everyone involved. You see it with a lot of clubs nowadays. They're quite transparent. So if I had to choose like one thing, just a clear plan from top, a clear plan from Whelan, clear plan from Radkin, and from whoever the manager is. I think that's the only way that you can really get everyone on board. But I mean, we say that putting young kids into a match against United was tough, but United themselves had a lot of young players. They had that 18-year-old Kevin. They brought on Harry Amas, Collier, Obi Martin, and you look at their bench as well. There's a lot of academy prospects there, and I think that's something that they pride themselves on, always having a academy graduate, and it's stuff like that. It's a culture that you build up over time that you need to instill in players and in the staff as well.
And what we keep saying about, the pathway and things like that is it's important for the next generation as well, because Monga's only 15, right? Or is he 16? Is he even 16 yet?
He's 15.
I don't know if he's 16.
Oh, he is 16. 15 or 16, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'm seeing so many different things about it, but yeah.
But we need to be thinking about the current 5-year-olds, right? Who in 10 years' time are going to be in the position of Jeremy Monga. They need to be able to look at Leicester City as a club that, Jeremy Monga, whatever Monga's doing in 10 years, playing for Real Madrid, maybe, who knows? But they need to see that as okay, there was this Jeremy Monga, he was 15, he was my age, and he was given a chance. That would also stop players wanting to leave to go to the Man Cities and the Liverpools. Of course, it's always going to be tempting. Of course, sometimes there's nothing we can do about it, but we need to give. We need to show that it is the right call to stick with Leicester in these facilities, and we'll give them a chance. So it's extremely frustrating. Monga wouldn't even be our youngest player if he played now. Don't know who you mean. Who else was there? Just wanted to say that this is not a job for Ruud. There needs to be precedent. Exactly. This is what I mean. There needs to be proof in the pudding, if you like, that Leicester are a good club for youngsters to come through and develop. And at the minute, it doesn't look like that. I mean, when I said, how I said about Dewsbury Hall, it's like we stumbled upon him. I mean, Harvey Barnes was sent on loan, to West Brom. He tore it up, and we recalled him in January. Claude Puel brought him in, and the rest was history. So, yeah. Ashley Chambers apparently was the youngest Leicester player.
Yeah.
What I
Go on.
will say about the youth is, I think a promising thing is that we've sent all these guys out on loan now, and then hopefully next season they come back. Your Ben Nelson, Will Alves, even a 1 year. I don't know how he's been doing, but you send all these guys out on loan, and hopefully next season they can all come together and you can start fresh. But I mean, the decision making from the club's been really poor. I mean, we're struggling to score goals. And we sold Tom Cannon. We're struggling to keep goals out. We loan out Hamza Chowdhury. We don't even get a fee for him, right? Same thing with Harry Suter. Who's to say he wouldn't have been useful at the start of the season? It's just you need just a blank slate, and then you start again from fresh, new faces, new board directors, new manager, and you just freshen it up, because I think things are getting stale now. The guys are a bit low on confidence. They don't trust each other, and you just need to freshen it up. Even if you bring guys on the bench, younger guys, they can see the game differently. They want to play differently. And hey, who knows? Maybe there's a goal for a youngster somewhere, and they win the game, and then they become a cult hero, and then there's a lot of things that can happen, and you can't take away that opportunity by not even giving them any opportunity.
Yeah, mate, honestly, I totally agree with you. It's I think it's a big talking point, and it's going to be a big talking point now between now and the end of the season, because we're going to have these games that come and go, probably without a win. And I think, one of the most important things now at this crossroads we appear to be in is what we do with youth. Because I think I don't see any negatives at this point to playing the youngsters, giving them a chance, seeing if either of them, who knows, if you've got Monger who comes in and does okay, average, in the Premier League against some of the players, that he'll be able to make an impact next season, and maybe promises or assurances can be made to him to try and get him to stay. Monger, mate, you will be an important part of that squad next season. So, yeah. Ethan, thank you, mate, as always, for calling in. I'm loving the upgrade to the audio as well, mate. Nicely done. Cheers, Ethan. We'll see you next week, pal. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. Up next, we have Mr. Imran. Let's get him in. What's going on, mate?
Imran, okay.
How's it going,
Imran?
Yeah, not bad. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, loud and clear, mate.
That's good.
So,
what do we talk about? What do we talk about, eh?
You tell me, mate. Anything you want.
So, yesterday, I noticed a bit of a change in the stadium atmosphere. So, over the last 4 or 5 home games, when we've been losing tragically, as you know, it's got a bit toxic in there, right? A lot of boos, Rudkin out, you're not fit to wear the shirt, people leaving. Yesterday was like, it weren't even toxic, mate. It was just like acceptance that we're going down.
I did 5 stages of grief or whatever, right? We were moving through those. We are at the acceptance stage. We know now that there is very likely not much to be done left. And I can imagine him. And how has that experience been? I've been there once, right? Last season in the championship, and that was when it was all fine and dandy, winning 4-0 against Plymouth. And from what I heard with the people I talked to, they mentioned that relegation season last year being very tough to get to the ground and really look forward to it. Are you struggling with that as well? Like looking forward to your Sundays where you get to watch Leicester because so
the season we got relegated a couple of years ago, there was still an atmosphere in the ground, right? There was still that hope that we might stay up, even though I kind of knew that we'd messed it up from the dismal start we made. But now it's completely different. It's like yesterday there was no singing, no chanting, not even, like I said, the toxicity weren't even there. It was just like, Man United scored, no boos, no nothing. Then obviously the Garnacho goal got ruled out. Everyone kind of accepted it. And then obviously VAR saved us. And then there was a little bit of a roar that, we're back in it. But then obviously they scored again 10, 15 minutes later. And again, it was just like, oh, okay, safe, no problem. It was just like there was nothing in the ground. It's just so sad that we're not hearing anything from the crowd or anything. So I don't know. I think that acceptance period is set on us now. I've accepted it. I think you're going to be putting up the match day vlog tomorrow, I think, Locks. We're 10 points adrift, aren't we, really, if you think about it? I know it's 9, but we're 10 points. And I think fans are not stupid. They kind of know now that the writing's on the wall. And all the conversations you've been having in the calls prior about giving youth a chance and all that, I think, yeah, you know, you have to do it now. That's the only thing that'll get the crowd going. If you put Munger on, he will help the crowd to get a little bit more atmospheric, you know. There'll be a little bit more oomph in the crowd. But yeah, it's just dead, man. Completely dead.
I mean, I was listening to Radio Leicester Imran today, and obviously, again, I'll bring up Piper because he was talking about how, you know, normally at half people go down early to the concourse for their pie and beer or whatever, and you know, when you go down normally onto the concourse, you're worried, you're anxious about missing something, and you're like, oh, I don't want to miss anything. But now you can go down 20 minutes before kickoff. You're not missing a thing before half time. The only thing you're going to miss is the other team scoring. That's it. That's the only thing you'll miss. And that's this is what I'm saying. It's the atmosphere, isn't it? People are going into the ground knowing that they're not going to see a win, knowing that they're probably not even going to see a goal.
You know, so the other thing is, right, like I've been noticing, I've been saying this for years now. I've been saying this for 3-4 years. I think we're a boring team. So how many times we go forward, we have a good play. Like I think there was a few times. Sumari played shit anyway, but he did break away a couple of times. Passed it to, you know, like Luke Thomas or Christensen on that left-hand side. And then we're in a good position. All you have to do is, like, you know, do a shimmy, do a step over, do something, go past your player and put a cross in. But no, what we do, we go back in field. The midfielder passes it back to Fast passes it back to Christensen, back to the goalkeeper. So we've gone from an attacking position on the left-hand side back to our goalkeeper. And it consistently has been happening. And this has been happening since Brendan days, right? So I think, you know, one thing is, if they are going to change this possession-based football, just it doesn't suit us. We haven't got the players, and I blame that twat Guardiola, right, for ruining our game. I think the Premier League, honestly, like, I'm just venting here, but the Premier League over the last 3 years has just become a very, like, not competitive. We keep saying it's the best league in the world, but look, Liverpool have run away with the title. We're in the middle of March, right? The 3 relegation teams are virtually certainly getting relegated, the bottom 3 at the moment. Same thing happened last season. Man City ran away with it. By end of March, they were champions. You know, virtually they were there. Arsenal had fallen away. The 3 relegated teams were already confirmed. And the same things happened again this season, right? Like, Liverpool have run away with it. The 3 teams at the bottom, virtually done. So the Premier League is not as competitive as we advertise it. So it's just a general problem in the league because all the teams are trying to play in a similar way.
Well,
apart
it's
from
changing.
Forest.
I don't know if you remember the article I sent you, Imran. Over the last 3 seasons, the pace is the directness of the football and the pace of football is actually increasing. It is going kind of back. Not, you know, it will never go back to 4-4-2 and all of that stuff, but it is heading backwards a little bit, mate, back to the football that you want to see. Or not even that, you know what I mean? A bit more directness. You know, I understand where you come from, Imran. I think you're right. Like, if you have the players to do it, you make, you know, great. Fair enough. But I think,
but we've got Sumare, we've got Harry Winks. You can't play that way. You know, like, you need players that with a bit of intelligence, a bit of power in their play. But we haven't got those players. And look, the last point I want to make is about the manager situation, right? So you all know I wanted Cooper to stay on. I just don't think we gave him enough time. Same with Ruud. Like, about 3-4 weeks ago, you guys were calling for his head or suggesting that he's not doing a good job. I said, look, just give him a bit of time. But now I'm on the out camp as well. Like, come on, man, 13 out of 14 defeats. That's just simply, that's a sackable offence. He's got to go now. If he can't turn it around, then nobody can, right? We got to bring somebody else in. Nobody in his backroom staff, no one's going to make a difference. So we have to try something different. And I've still got a question in my head. Do you think he's going to be around next season? Honestly, like, if we keep losing, and the other thing is we're not scoring, right? Like, if we were playing well and losing, I think fans would accept that. Like I'd accept it as a fan. If we're playing well, we're hitting the post, we're working their goalkeeper, we narrowly lose 2-1, or we lose 3-2, but we're not even competitive in the games. So that's why Ruud.
Sorry, Imran. I was going to say just on that point, Doc. I put out a tweet last night saying that no new manager is going to keep us up, but we have to go down fighting. We have to go down, scoring a couple goals here or there, looking like we want to stay up, even though we know we're not going to. And at the moment, that's not happening, and I don't think it will happen as long as Ruud van Nistelrooy is here. So, what do you think, Doc? Because you can't really bring in a permanent manager now, can you? It's not
unless you're applying for the championship, right? And then it's a different story of who you can really get. I mean, it's a tricky situation. I think I've always, along with Imran, really been backing Ruud, even when the results got tough, because I had this mindset as soon as he came in instead of Cooper that, I mean, he was going to be here for the end of the season, so he has to make it work. And he's going to have my backing because I know we're not going to be able to sack him. And I think that's one of the key things. Obviously, the financials aren't out yet, haven't been able to look into them. But there is this, thing about FFP. Do we even have the money to sack him? Do we have the money to get someone else in? All of these questions are floating around. So I don't know what can change anymore. He's tried to change the personnel. He's tried to change the system, but we're getting worse. It's not getting any better. And I mean, I think as well, Imran, that's what I want to know from you. If you could change one thing that you would believe, maybe outside of hiring Ruud, since you've already said that, that could give us just some slight hope, what would you want to see change for yourself to feel a little bit more optimistic?
Yeah, I honestly think the style of play needs to change. That's the only thing that needs. This passing football is just not working. We just need to get grafters on the pitch, play like Forest, absorb the pressure, and then hit them on the break with Mavadidi, with Facundo Bonate, with Monga if he gets a chance, with a bit of pace. So let's concede possession. We can't keep the ball. We know that. So why not give up possession, absorb the pressure, and then hit them quickly on the attack? We've got Vardy, we've got, like I said, Mavadidi, we've got a bit of pace in Facundo Bonate, and Bilal can play a killer pass and use Bilal as our point to play that ball to the forwards. Like give it to Bilal and then get the wingers running down those wings. But the problem is none of our fullbacks or wingers take on a man. That's the other thing. I think we made a point about Grealish, how Pep destroyed him. He used to rip past players, back in his day, but now all he does cuts inside, plays it in field. And that's the thing we need to get out of the game, is we just have to go for the byline, as they used to say in the olden days, get chalk on your shoes and just get the ball into the middle. And we're just not doing that.
Yeah, Imran, mate, look, thank you for calling in, mate. Much appreciated. We'll see you very soon. Match day vlog will be out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that, people. But yeah, cheers, Imran.
All right.
Thanks, mate.
Take care, guys. Good job, guys. Bye.
Imran. Bye-bye. Okay. Little couple comments before we get Jack in. Worst Leicester manager ever, not a chance. Holloway was way worse for starters. Every reaction, he promises nothing right now. We need some change. Be a bloody winger. I think he's just somebody be a winger, please. We can hit them quickly, though. It's the mentality. They can't pass 5 yards. You expect a 60-yard pass from back to work. Yeah, I mean, I've noticed that lazy passes as well. That's what really wound me up yesterday with Samari. It's been the same for the last few weeks. Samari, hospital passes. Looking like you don't care.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. It's all around the team. I mean, what can really change? If I was Ruud going into this 2-week break, right, or rip up the team sheet, forget everything about who's supposed to start or whatever, and then build something from scratch. Maybe ask ChatGPT to help build you a tactic, or I don't know, man, something. Copy the best tactic from Football Manager. Try the 4-2-2, and we'll see if you can cook with that. I mean, something needs to change. This 5-back is not helping us concede less goals. It's not helping us score goals. So, we'll see. And maybe we'll find out someone who can come in and call in with the right answer.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so we're going to go over to Jack, the final whistle. Jack, mate, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm all right. You?
You don't sound it, mate. You sound as miserable as the rest of us, mate.
I tell you what, I think I'm still pissed off, if I'm honest.
Understandably so.
Yeah.
I tell you what, this is one of the worst Leicester teams I've seen in some time, and there's just nothing about this team whatsoever. These guys move like they're on Strictly Come Dancing, for God's sake. It's that bad. They might as well dance with each other, innit? They do better in a dancing competition than they would in a football match. These guys can't score in a brothel. There's no fight, no urgency. There's just nothing to think, you know what, this team's got enough to stay up. It hasn't. This team's championship bound for me.
Yeah. I think I agree with you, Jack. They look like they're running quicksand as well. There's another one for you. I mean, yeah, it's
That's crazy, man. Yeah.
Jack. Well, we've got our Dane here, mate. I'm gonna put you under the bus here, both of you, really. What do you make to Victor Christensen's recent performances, Jack?
Christensen's crap. I'll admit it. It's not just on Christensen though. The old team is not good enough. Let's be honest. Christensen, you know, maybe there's a little effort there, but his quality's not good enough. Let's be honest. He could go and play in the Serie A and look like a fantastic fullback in Denmark or wherever he's playing, but he's just not good enough, is he? Let's be honest. He can't defend. He leaves his winger, gives him about 10 yards, and when he does start running at him, the winger, the guy just stands there, and it's like it's musical statues, man.
And he's not quick enough.
Did all the work yesterday for him.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've been a little bit, you've been frustrated, Doc, when you see people talking about Christensen and Luke Thomas, and some people saying that maybe Luke Thomas is better. For what it's worth, I don't think Luke Thomas is a better player than Christensen, but I think he's outperformed him, Doc, in the last two games.
If you think about who was at fault for the first, not the first two, but the first goal yesterday, it was really Luke Thomas. I mean, that forward pass never needed, never necessary. Second goal as well. Lucky to be as skinny as me and keep Garnacho offside. Had he been a little bit thicker there, would have been onside, and he got absolutely skinned. So, and I want to make this very clear because I do believe that he is currently still the best left back we have at the club, but that says more about the situation we have because he is not good enough. He is currently not good enough. I believe he has the potential to be a good left back. I've seen it in Copenhagen. I've seen it in Serie A, but the Premier League, he just hasn't shown it. And he's been shambolic these past few games. I think in particular with how bad we're performing, I don't like that people are pointing out individuals and making them the scapegoat because the reality is, as was said as well, right? The team is just not good enough. The players in general are just not performing well. So I don't want to scapegoat someone and wish them all the worst because it's not just their fault. It is everyone's fault. They are all underperforming, really, except for Hermansen, who had a brilliant penalty save against Chelsea, right?
Doc, do you think Luke Thomas could play left back for Bologna and qualify for the Champions League?
Definitely not. Definitely not. I'm willing to bet my whole apartment on that. You know, don't have a wife and kid yet, but I'll throw in them too when I get them in the future. He's definitely not going to get them to the Champions League.
Yeah, Jack, I mean, what do you think we should do from here? Because we're talking about, I think we've all given up, but we're talking about youth quite a bit at the moment. The two hyped up players in the academy, Jerry Munger and Jake Evans. Are you in the camp of just, that's it, we're going down, so give them a chance?
We're going down, aren't we? Let's be fair. You look at the 14-15 side, they had a lot more fight. They had a manager who were more like a bloody army, bloody cadet, bloody masty. Do you get what I mean? In Nigel Pearson, so no messing about it. You know, Paul Konchesky did more in that 14-15 season than Christensen's done all season in this one. Let's be fair. Proper left back. Didn't allow the guy many room, and he'd always get stuck in. I know Konchesky's a bit more older, a bit more experienced, but the thing is...
And he's got a lot less hair, Jack. Konchesky had a lot less hair.
He's grown it now, so he said he looks better. So I don't know. But yeah, you've got Munger in there, and you've got Jake Evans. But the thing is, relying on the youth in this type of situation, it's like a toxic environment at the minute with Leicester losing. I mean, they can't score.
Exactly, yeah.
What the question is, lads, what can Leicester City do? Let's be honest. If they can't score, and they've got 7 behind the ball every single time, and they still manage to lose the ball in the conceding goals. You've gone 7 straight home games now without a win, and you've scored no goals. It's the top flight record now for Leicester City in English football, which is abysmal, by the way. How do you change this situation? Because for me, I'd start planning for the Championship now, because that's where we're going to be.
Yeah, we've got no option, Doc, have we? We have to plan for the Championship now.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, and I think it's a big thing. You know, we had Imran about the fans before, right? You know, the mood is just so depressing, and I think some of that comes with the fact that we aren't being given this dopamine of hope. the hope might be what kills you, but it's also what keeps you going for the time being, right? I think in the past 5 games, I can remember celebrating once, and that was at the penalty save. That had me celebrating like a goal because, you thought maybe so early in the game, this could be what changed the momentum. And when that then also fell flat, we continued to do nothing. Like, it's just such a deflating energy that it's really hard for the fans. And how do we turn this around? Well, scoring goals, but we can't do that. So I think it is something like, getting some youth on, someone, to do something different or trying something wholly new to see this is better than we had before. Maybe we can cling on to hope here.
Yeah, last question for you, Jack. And I think this is probably the toughest question that you will answer all year. Are you ready? The question is, when will we score another goal?
Jesus Christ, I mean, I've not even think Leicester City can score a goal at all. I think, we come up against Southampton, people would say it's the easiest game, but then they'd probably beat and break Derby's record, let's be honest.
I actually think if we played Southampton tomorrow, we'd lose. I genuinely believe that.
Yeah, we would.
I think it might be right. I think, Jack, the right answer to this question is, when does the championship start? That's the date we'll score a goal again, mate.
That probably is the right answer, to be fair. And then to say Rasmus Højlund scored after 21 games, Charity FC struck again yesterday. But you look at the second and the third goal defensively. They're just stood there, aren't they? What are they doing? They're just looking away, and then they start. As soon as the musical statues music comes on, they'll stand still. And as soon as the net ripples and the opposition scored, they'll sort of wake up again. You're thinking, nah, but it ain't fair on the fans, is it? You pay hard-working money week in, week out to follow your team and that. And this club's rotten from top to bottom. It's a real mess. The hierarchy needs a massive change. The squad needs a massive change. If you sack Van Nistelrooy, I don't think it's going to change anything, let's be honest. Maybe Ruud would have been better in the Championship for Leicester. But in this type of situation, it's a toxic club. I mean, you're going to look at managers at the minute and think, who's going to want to come in here and manage us? But then David Moyes would probably been the best option for Leicester City. He's been and done it.
He didn't want to come, though. Didn't want to come. I mean,
at this point.
I just want to hear one last short thing, right? I've been asking this for the past few callers. If there could be just one thing that you could choose to change now for the rest of the season to give you, a bit of hope for either staying up or just a bit of hope going into the championship season, what would it be? Changing the formation, firing the manager, better communication, more youth on the pitch? What would you want?
Bloody, I don't think changing the team and formation is going to work. They can't play at a 4-back. They can't play at a 5-back. You might as well put the team bus in front of goal. I think that's how we change it. But then again, someone would find a way through pinning the windows in and putting the ball in front of. So
I'll tell you what we need. We need another COVID outbreak. We need to fucking end the season, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Jack, look, mate. It's depressing as hell, man. And I know you follow them at home and away every single week, mate. So fair play. It's poor, mate. It's poor. Have you got a match day vlog out?
Yes, I've got the match day vlog out of Manchester United. A few F-bombs in there, I'm afraid. I let my lid blow yesterday with that team. A few words got said, and the thing is, you got to show passion. You've got to show realism in this situation. You got to let them know the team how you feel, and that it's not wrong in football to do so. And the thing is, I'm very much straight to the point. If I don't see encouragement and I don't see how you're improving or anything, then I'm just going to say it as it is, and exactly as it is. To be fair, you say it as you see it in life. You've got eyes, and there we go, But I didn't clap them off yesterday. They don't deserve it, and it's as simple as that, We've got Manchester City next, and Ireland could have a bloody fun day. Yeah,
100%. Jack, mate, thank you so much. Everybody in the chat, go check out after this Final Whistle match day vlog. Go and listen to the F-bombs. You could go and watch one of his older ones as well, the IU goal. I know you had a good angle of the IU, so there you go. So cheers, Jack. See you soon, mate.
You're bringing back memories where we actually score, You know what I mean?
Mate, Jordan Ayew is going to have like the moment of the season, for Leicester this season. It is. The Southampton goal. That's how bad it is.
It's been so long on it, let's be honest.
Right, Jack. Cheers, mate. See you soon, pal. See you soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, man.
Cheers to Jack. Dimitri, you're next, mate. Get ready. Have a word with Harvey Barnes, etc. Him to score him goal.
I miss Harvey Barnes, man.
Well, yeah, we do now. I remember when Ragsy was telling me that he's better. The Mavididi was better than Harvey Barnes. I was like, man,
I don't think you can compare them. They were two very different wingers in terms of what they added. Harvey Barnes.
You'd rather him right now, though.
I think Harvey Barnes and Victor Christiansen could have a brilliant partnership because they want to play the same way. Harvey Barnes did very much like these give and goes. He wasn't a big dribbler. He didn't want to do it himself. He needed someone to pass the ball to, pass it into the channel, and that was when he had the most success. Mavididi would rather do it all on his own. Man, I miss Harvey Barnes. I miss the legendary commentary of the equalizer. I mean, it wasn't for us, I get it, but a legendary Harvey Barnes moment. So many good things to think back on as a Leicester fan these past few years, though. Not much.
He did score a great equalizer. I'm sure it was an equalizer for us against Leeds.
Yeah, so right after they scored, right? And he just ran down and he just popped the top bins from an acute angle. The good old days.
Look at this. VK couldn't even have a partnership with his missus.
That's too high, man. I think that's a very lovely girlfriend.
She is. That partnership is definitely. He's Christiansen's putting more into the Mavididi partnership than Mavididi is for sure.
Yeah,
that's a one-sided.
It's a one-sided relationship, and we can't be having that, man. I mean,
it is.
I think, and I think people are very fair on him with this, right? Because people are also realizing what he's trying to do offensively, working with Mavididi. He's not getting anything back. I mean, it is just he's double, triple texting, and he's never getting a reply. I mean, at worst, he's getting a booty call, just a compensation pass, but it's never really anything useful, right? So that partnership, I thought it could have been brilliant, but I was so wrong.
Yeah, 100%. Right, Dimitri, all the way from Ukraine. He's in a Real Madrid shirt. Dimitri is actually the one who was violating Victor Christiansen last week, and then Duck came in like 2 minutes later. Dimitri, how you doing, my friend?
Hi, I would just explain about Real Madrid. I decided to support Ethan's flash mob. I supported Real when CR7 played there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the same way, just I support this hopeless Leicester now because I just feel sorry for Jamie Vardy. You wouldn't even dream of such a sad ending to a career of a living legend of English football. Really, that's a shame.
Yeah,
and
way to go out.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about some incorrect starting 11. I will keep silent about the game of Fas, Sumare, Dhaka. I just want to point out that we just don't have luck at all. We don't have just any luck. I suspect it's all because of Ruud's nervousness, stubbornness. I read that Ruud resigned one game before the end of Eredivisie after falling out with all PSV management. So now I understand why he seems to be choosing starting 11 from the players with whom he simply hasn't yet fallen out. So to play Dhaka, not Bonanotte, to keep Warrior on the bench playing Thomas in central of defense, it's inexplicable.
I want to touch on one play you've just said there, Doc. What the hell is going on with Woyo Koulibaly, and why has he only started one game, which he then came off at half time?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It is a peculiar case, right? I at this point, I feel lost in terms of what's really going on at the club. You don't really have the overview. You think you know what's going to happen, and it so rarely falls out that way, right? It's a good question. I think he could definitely get some more minutes, even from the bench, right? He had some offensive qualities, and we desperately need anyone who can do anything to get us closer to scoring a goal.
About Christensen, you wanted me to reply. I don't see some of his mistakes, major mistakes. It's just a regular performance of him. I'm just disappointed because most likely I won't be able to watch Fox's matches in Championship as our broadcast companies usually show only top matches of the lowest leagues.
Don't worry, Dimitri. I had that issue last season as well. It sadly costs money, but the club gets the right to directly stream their own games, and then you can pay, I think 175 was it last time pounds for a whole season. So you get all the games streamed from Leicester. It is quite a bit of money, and especially if you already pay for cable and everything. But you will be able in certain territories to watch Leicester games that way. I know it was that case in Denmark. I don't know about Ukraine, but I'm with you that because it's an issue I have as well. It's the same in Denmark. Only the top championship games goes on TV.
Yeah.
Or Dimitri, there is also a way you can just break the law. You can do it illegally.
Don't say that on broadcast. No one would ever break the law.
Can you imagine that I just spent $9 or $10 watching like for 2 or 3 months all Premier League matches and not also Bundesliga, etc. So it wasn't available in Ukraine, it was available in North Korea.
You know what, Dimitri? When we get towards next season, obviously we'll still be around with the channel, right? If anyone has any questions about it, I used the service last time around. I'll help you figure something out. And
there's ways to do it.
Yeah.
Also about other things for him to text in that I wanted to just cheer him up also, because he every time I appear in this your streams, he's all ready to just say hi to me and
Arthur, man,
to him, and maybe we'll connect somehow to just have a small representation of your community, Leicester community in Ukraine, maybe.
Yeah, man. Arthur's a good guy. Look, Dimitri, I want to ask you what we've asked a lot of the other guests about the youth. Because we keep we keep hearing all this hype about the two youngsters in particular, Jake Evans and Jeremy Munger. With now all hope, but pretty much gone. Would you play some of the youth, give them a run out, give them a chance to impress in the first team ahead of next season?
Well, for sure. If we have some options, like we'll always, I would definitely choose him, not Bobby De Corder-Ripped or someone else's, Ayu or Daka. So I will choose some more younger players just to try them, to give them some experience playing in Premier League. So that's really vital. And as you see, Ethan or not Ethan, someone mentioned that Manchester United played with lots of youth. And this defender, center back, I forgot his
Heaven.
Yeah. He was a nightmare for our attack. He just blocked everything. And when he got injured, I felt sorry for him, but I just thought that we will score after that. And because he was really, really great.
He was really good, yeah. I think the best moment all game actually happened while he was getting treatment. Jamie Vardy tapped it into the net. And the whole stadium, not the whole maybe, but the stadium actually celebrated like we'd scored a goal. They went crazy. They sang the song and everything. That was good fun. And it kind of epitomizes the situation, right? We are in trouble. I think, talking about the youth is relevant now, especially because the two wonder kids we have, right, are offensive players. And when we haven't scored in 7 straight home games, you want to try every available tool in your toolbox. I want to know, Dimitri, if you could change one thing from now until the end of the season to give yourself more hope and enjoyment in watching Leicester, even if we end up going down, but for the future as well, what would it be? Would it be to be, have the youth play, or what would you want to see if you could choose one thing?
Sack Ruud.
Ruud, fair enough.
Yeah,
I mean,
we had lots of examples of other teams when their own manager was sacked, and even some, for example, it was with Everton or some other teams. Like the examples is like Seamus Coleman or somebody else. Temporary route this team, coached this team, and they just played, and it wasn't really more worse than they performed with another with previous managers. So I think if someone like even Jamie Vardy, if he was a playing manager, it will be not worse than Ruud. And you saw this press conference of Ruud, 5-minute press conference. He was really nervous, and he just dropped all this. Yeah, it saddens also me that people laugh at Leicester, although after winning this Premier League and considering the squad with which it was achieved, I think this club will forever be one of the greatest, no matter what happens to it. I think we'll overcome such obstacles than Radkin, Van Nistelrooy, or Fass. All these are just disappear, gone, and I think Leicester will receive a more better future. We'll get more better future than that. I think we need this season in Championship, sadly, but we need it to restructure, not for staying with Ruud, with all these players. There needs to be a total refreshment of all the aspects. So I really hope personnel and strategy in general needs to be just.
I think recruitment's the main thing. We keep saying it. Recruitment probably is the thing that killed us, including the manager recruitment as well last summer. It's going to be a big, if we are able to spend this summer and there isn't an embargo, it's going to be vital that we spend it right. So, we did quite well last season in the Championship with recruitment. You could now look back and say Harry Winks and Connor Cody probably weren't the best options, but Harry Winks did give us a great year.
Yeah. For Winks, right? For the money you're paying, getting a brilliant year one where was key to our success. I think it's fair. And I think he would have done fine in the Prem had he been in the exact Enzo system, right? Very much a system player. Connor Cody, I mean, we've gotten some podcasts out of him, then it's all about how much you value those podcasts, right?
Yeah, 100%. Dimitri, thank you, mate, as always, for calling in. You're always here, so appreciate you so much.
Yeah,
we'll see you soon, mate.
I hope at least we will have a better scout system. So whenever some club, some small club or some mediocre club finds a nice guy from the bottom of some Brazilian league or some I don't know. It's just amazing.
Like what Brighton do. And I mean, you look at we signed Mahrez from the second division.
That was amazing, and we need to repeat it. So
100%.
Thank you. Sorry for some wrong badge today.
No, it's all right. I understand it. Don't worry, mate. It's all good.
And maybe some praying for Cristiano Ronaldo. And
man.
Jamie Vardy is like a similarity of him, so they play nice, and he's in this years of them. So.
Yeah, for sure. Right, mate, we'll see you soon. Cheers, Dimitri. Thank you so much. Right, up next, it's going to be Craig from the Dallas Foxes. Are you ready, Craig?
All the way from America.
He looks. This is okay. I've seen how he looks. He looks how I feel. There we go. Craig, mate, what's going on, pal? How you feeling?
Well, I was feeling good about an hour ago. Then I started watching your show, and I'm depressed as shit now.
Understandable.
That normally happens. Yeah, we have that effect on people, mate. Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's you personally. So, but I mean, Anil's gone, so now we've got to deal with Duck. So I got to get used to this. I'm not, So actually, one thing I saw Ray. I don't know who Ray is in your chat, but he posted that Leicester put out a February goal of the month video. What he failed to include was that it was all goals of our opponents. So there were none in there for Leicester. So we'll get to go vote on whoever we think scored the best goal against us for the month of February. So but anyway, pretty depressing right now. So I don't know. I mean, you guys have kind of covered everything that seems to be talked about, but I don't know where we go from here.
I want to ask you, from America, right? Obviously, the time zone's a big difference. I watch a lot of esports, and sometimes, recently this weekend, I woke up at 5 a.m. to watch a European League of Legends team. And, that's all fine and good when they're performing well. And, this is worth my morning. But for you, obviously last time probably, or yesterday was probably pretty, on midday. But you must have some of those games where, like, how is it to not dedicate your life, but change your schedule around a team when, you then wake up and you get served up straight up a big pot of shit, really?
Well, no, we are dedicating our lives for one. So you're kind of wrong about that. But yeah, but I mean, when they have it like a midday match, like when they're doing something 12:30 local time, that's 6:30 in the morning for us.
Yeah, that's very
so we're getting up and we're getting to typically we all go to our local pub, and that's where we all meet up and watch.
Respect the dedication, man. I really respect it.
So they just can't serve us beer until a certain time. So that's the only other problem. But yeah. So, but I mean, no, as part of being a supporter, right? I mean, it's the same thing for people who are season ticket holders and the people who go every week and who travel with the team or to follow the team as well. You don't, and this is something that happens in America, that I don't like. And then it's one of the things I do like, and it's kind of drawn me to English football, is that you always follow your team. It doesn't matter how good or bad they are. You don't start jumping ship. You just don't jump ship because they're doing bad. And in the States, that's very much, we call it a bandwagon effect. You jump on the bandwagon when they're doing great, and then you jump off as soon as they start to suck, So, or you find the other wagon to jump on. But I mean, I've come to love this and love the passion behind it, which is one of the reasons I got into it about 12 years ago and started following Leicester and everything. And so, I just know this is the rest of my life to do this. So that's really what it is more than anything else. And I'm good with that. It's just as long as we can produce a product, which we're not doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, what do you we were talking about the manager quite a lot, and obviously people are saying, he has to go, Craig, and I suppose the other side of the argument is, well, what's it going to do? We're not going to stay up. I mean, do you think it's the right call to sack him now and have an interim for the last couple of months, or do you just keep him in place and then in the summer you decide, all right, Ruud, thank you very much for your efforts, time to go?
Well, I wonder why it hasn't happened already. So it makes me think that there's something going on, and we're just going to hang on to Ruud to the end of the season for whatever reason. It could be financials, it could be whatever it is. I think our big issue right now is that if we're actually trying to play as if we're going to stay up, once we get to that point where we're not, what are we going to do? And that's the point where you need to start introducing the younger players and getting the experience, because they're going to have a lot more experience against Premier League players when we go down the championship and they're playing there. So whether, especially some of the guys on the under 21 and even on the under 18, why aren't we going to go ahead and play them once we get to that point? I don't know about Ruud. There's something funny going on there. I don't see the point of getting rid of him now, but I also don't see the point of keeping him. The problem is I think there's something else we don't know about because we don't have good communication with our board, our leadership, our owner about what's going on and why. And so I really don't think it really matters whether he stays or goes. It's a matter once we reach the point of we're in relegation, it should be the youth movement after that for sure.
I think it's a very reasonable view, right? When I get some minutes of Premier League football in their legs before they go down and play in the championship, I want to ask you as well, right? If there is just one thing that you could change, and in particular, maybe you're American, you've known the American franchise system and how you do things over there in terms of ownership, and it is obviously very different from European traditional sports. Is there anything you would potentially take from the American side? The MLS, your NBAs, and all this that you would add to the European game?
Well, I think one of the things that we don't know as watchers and followers of the game is we don't understand always the financials behind everything. Typically in the States, you kind of know the financials and they're pretty upfront with their contracts, how they're laid out. Obviously, we have salary caps and things of that nature in a lot of our leagues, guaranteed money versus not guaranteed money. I keep asking all the time, who's getting paid what? And no one can really tell me what they're getting paid, right? I know what their transfer fee is. And I know there's some other financials going on when it comes to fair play and PSR and everything like that, but it seems to be very difficult to understand. It also seems kind of ambiguous. And sometimes you think you know what it is, but you really don't know what it is. And then who was our lawyer that we got in here?
Nick DeMarco.
You get a Nick DeMarco in there who reads the fine print. and is able to figure something out. I think that's one of the things that struggles me, that I struggle with, is I know all the financials here in the States. It's really simple in my view. I cannot follow it whatsoever in football and the European football. So I think that's one thing, is how do we make that clear for the fans to understand, why is your team not spending money? Why are they spending? How is it the city spending $200 million every transfer window, and Leicester can only spend 20 or whatever it is, or pick your teams. I'm whomever it is. I don't have a clear understanding about it. I think that's one of the things I would change probably more than anything else, is a better understanding of the financials.
Yeah. My last question for you, Craig. Our next few games: Man City, Newcastle, Brighton, Liverpool, Wolves, Southampton, Forest, Ipswich, and Bournemouth. I mean, when do you see us scoring our next goal? Because at the minute,
not even getting the win next goal.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think we're going to sweep it. We're going to take the next 9. Wolves are going to go down, and we're going to end up winning. We're going to end up staying in the Premier League by a point. I mean,
that is the energy I like, Craig. That is what we've needed today. That's normally been me sitting there supplying that, but I'm down on it now. Thank you, Craig, for that. I did like that energy. We need that, right? We need the blind optimism that I normally like to point at.
So I've been saying this whole time, if we get to the last 5 matches of the season and we're no more than 4 points from 17th place, that we have a chance, because we play Wolves, Ipswich, Southampton as 3 of the last 5. At this point, if Wolves win, I think I said the other day, if they get 7, I think right now if they get 3, we're done. I mean, it may not be mathematically, but there's just not enough time, and we're not getting any goals to recover from it. So, I mean, I give us one more shot. If Wolves get 3 and we get nothing or whatever, we're done. I mean, that's just the way it's going to go. But Wolves has actually been playing much better over the last 6-8 weeks. So you can kind of see what happened in the beginning of the season. I don't know why they were so bad, and all of a sudden now they're so good. But obviously it didn't translate for Leicester. So it didn't translate for us.
Yeah, Craig, I know, give a shout out to the channel, mate, because I know you did a video last night, right?
Yeah. Charles and I got together and yelled at each other like an old married couple. I called him an idiot a few times. He called me stupid, but right here, at Fox is on the box right here. Where's it at? Right there. At Fox is on the box on YouTube and all the other social media. Check us out. We try to do something once a week, and not near as good as you guys. As Charles calls it, we are the worst Leicester fan club on the YouTube. So
you're not. There's the worst one's live right now. Actually, the other on another channel. So don't worry, you're not taking that one. All right, Craig, thank you so much, mate. Much appreciated. We'll see you again soon. Cheers, Craig. Okay, quick fire, because we've got so many callers. Up next is Aaron. We love Aaron because he was once on with me and Anel, and he proper blew smoke up our arse and made us feel good about ourselves. So what's he got for us today? Hello, mate. You're on mute, by the way. You're on mute. Hi, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing all right. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. The whole team's fucking useless. You can't hit a barn door and a piss up in a Biore.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
I've been saying in the chat for months, play the youth, because if you put youth players in there, they will show no fear and they'll show desire, and that's what we need right now. It seems like the teams just gave up as soon as a goal goes in. They just stand there like statues. Even a statue would be more use. At least it would block something.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Aaron. I mean, are you in agreement? There's just nothing really we can do now. We've just got to sit back and ride the wave of shit, mate. Honestly, that's what I'm going to say right now. That's how it feels.
Yeah, pretty much. Ride the 6-0s.
6-0.
I mean, as long as if we can really hold us to something, right? We haven't been 9-0 yet. We still have that record of winning 9-0 away. So, there are some.
I don't want to say it, but
could change.
Haaland's on form now, so you never know.
I mean, what do we have left? City away, Liverpool at home. Those are, Newcastle as well. After a few weeks, they're having a nice break now. They're, celebrating, and then when they come back from the international break, they are chasing European football, and they'll be looking at Leicester for three points. So, yeah, I'm worried. I am worried.
Yeah. I mean, you said about playing the youth, Aaron. Because we were talking about some of the debates that people have been having that I've seen online and stuff. Some people saying it's not fair throw them into a shit situation. But I think what you said there is probably right. No fear. They know that, the youth players know as well that we're going to go down. If anything, it's kind of pressure free for them. They know that they can go out there. They're not really going to contribute to us going down. That's already happening. So if anything, all they can really do is bring a bit of energy, a bit of positivity for the future.
Yeah, we was built. I'm pretty sure when we came up, we had the first time we had so many youth players. I don't know what's happened. Like, we've gone from having youth and building around youth to not doing it at all and just buying shit players. We've gone from Mahrez to fucking Bobby Dakova Reed. We've gone from Barnes to Ayew.
Fofana, Wesley Fofana to Yannick Vestergaard.
To name every position.
Yeah.
Because you've got Castagna is better than Christensen, in my opinion.
That's right. They do also play
even
two different positions.
Fuchs was good. Even Fuchs was.
Fuchs, he was brilliant. Yeah, Fuchs was brilliant. Yeah. James Justin before the ACL on the left as well. He had that dog in him.
Yeah. I mean, so what if we go down, Aaron? Well, I say when we go down, Aaron. I mean, what would you do with regards to recruitment? Would you look to would you just look to try and take your time in building a squad for the future, or would you look
around the
building
youth?
A squad? Who would you add? So would you look to just build a team to come straight back up, or would you think more long term and think of players that can develop into a good team in the future?
As I say, think for the short term, for the long term gain, as they say.
Yeah.
So the problem is with all these embargoes, we're going to have to use youth anyway if we get them. So you're not going to lose anything by using them. And I can see certain players leaving, but the one I'm thinking that we need to keep is Bilal. I know it's going to be hard to keep him, but he's the one you need to keep. You can get rid of Shitty, as I call him now, Mr. 10 step overs and pass it back.
I agree.
I don't think anyone will come in for Fatawu because he's been injured all season, so they've not really seen too much of him. So we might get away with that one.
Well, hopefully, I think the hope now, mate, is like just hopefully he doesn't have continued issues, right? Because how often do you see players that have such a big injury like an ACL and they struggle? Their career just isn't the same. And out of everybody, this sounds horrible. Well, hold on. This it feels horrible to say, but out of all the players in the squad, the guy you would least want to have an ACL is Abdul Fattah. I mean, he can have one, right? But Abdul Fattah, at such a young age, it was the worst time for him to get that, man. It was the worst time.
Yeah, and I've looked at manga videos of him ripping like 4 or 5 people. Yeah. He reminds me of Fatawu. He's exactly the same, and I don't get why there's no like something that's not clicked in Ruud's brain. If he's playing good in the youth academy, play him, because we've lost Basie. He went to fucking one team, then went to Fulham. We've lost that Neon guy to Liverpool. The next one's him to City, and City will play him.
Yeah, but I think in a few years he'll play him. But I mean, he'll definitely get minutes before he gets at us at this rate. You have to feel, unless something changes soon, right? I hope he gets a message in the international break now that you'll be a part of the squad coming back. And if it's from the bench or from the start, I just want to see some fresh faces in the attack. And both Jake Evans and Jeremy Munger will be, welcome with open arms.
I hear what you're saying, Aaron. I think Man City, they could go, let's say they're in the Champions League and, by the fourth or fifth groups, league phase game, if it's all done and dusted, they'll send someone like Jeremy Munger out to bloody wherever they're going, whatever country they go to play the game, and they'll give him some minutes. And we've done it in the past. I mean, remember, we threw Harvey Barnes in for the game against Porto in the Champions League. He was like 18 or 17. We got thumped, I want to say 5-0, maybe 6-0. Someone in the chat can remind me. But at least you're giving youth minutes. You gave Harvey Barnes at 17 years old, a taste of Champions League football. He never got it again. He never got it again for Leicester. But yeah, we were close at one point. Aaron, answer me this, mate. Do you think we will win or score again this season?
The only games I look at that you can possibly score is Southampton and Ipswich. And Ipswich have more fight than us. I can see Ipswich picking up points. I say this, but that's what I see because Ipswich ain't giving up.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I've said it so many times already, Aaron. I think if we played Southampton tomorrow, and definitely Ipswich, I think we'd lose because of the lack of confidence. You know, I know Southampton have obviously got no confidence as well, and they're going down, but I just feel like we are rock bottom right now. You know, we are rock bottom.
Well, at least they're scoring.
That's true. They've scored. We haven't, so
we are definitely not scoring.
Yeah. Aaron, mate, thank you for calling in, mate. Much appreciated. We'll see you again soon, mate. All right.
Yeah.
What sort of thumbs up emoji coming from your
Cheers,
webcam?
Aaron. Yeah, look. Hold on. I've got
That's
one
some
for
Facebook level stuff there. That's crazy.
Here we go. There we go.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a love
Get the love out to the chat. Now, I think actually one thing I've just been reminded about, you know, it should be in a few weeks. We should have the financials, and that will hopefully shed some light on the situation we have at hand. But let's move on to the next guest. As I can hear from you, we still have loads more coming through.
Well, we have 3 more callers. Again, it's going to be quick fire at this point. Not quick fire. We won't just get you on and get you gone, but it won't be as long as the others, unfortunately, just because of the time. Up next, it is going to be Ryan. So here is Ryan. Duck knows. We all know Ryan. Duck, you know Ryan. Here he is. What's going on, mate?
Hello, guys. How you doing?
Shit.
Yeah.
Pretty much sums up the mood concerning Leicester City right now, doesn't it?
Yeah. Man, how are you feeling right now? Are you feeling like the rest of us? Just acceptance? You've accepted the relegation that is ultimately coming?
I'm afraid so. Well, I've been feeling this way for about a number of weeks or even months. I just look at the players yesterday. They've just given up. It's like even in a 0-0 whilst we were in the game, you could see the body language in the group. It's like there's like something wasn't right. It's like they didn't even believe they were going to do anything. It's like it's just plain embarrassing. It's sad.
I think, Ryan, I kind of want to know. You said you had this feeling for a while, but I think we've all had it pretty early on that, you know, we could be relegated. And I've gone through the feeling as well. Like, I think we'll get relegated, but I still believe the hope. When did you tip from this? You know, I think, and there's a chance to, we are 95% going down. I reached that yesterday personally, but when did you really get that sinking feeling like, okay, there is no hope anymore?
Well, the first time I really had that feeling was when the January window shut and we hardly signed anyone.
Yeah, I think
that was really when that was the opportunity. If we were to have any chance at all of staying in the Premier League, we had to invest in January, and we didn't. And that's where Ruud van Nistelrooy has been badly let down, because you can't trust the board to back anybody, and our recruitment team is awful.
And this is the problem. This is the problem with PSR as well, guys, because January was a situation where there was 2 options. It was either not sign anyone or just Woyo and get relegated, which is happening. Or the other option is you spend and you breach PSR. And they were the 2 options, and there was no way around that, it seems, from what it appears. So it's a tough situation, but I think, you know, it's easy for us to say this now, Ryan, but we probably should have just spent and dealt with the PSR later.
Yeah,
and
look what Forest have done. They've spent their money, even if it meant they were going to get points deduction like they did last year. And look where they are now. They're about to qualify for the Champions League. So there's no point in blaming PSR. It's just an easy cop-out.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know how hard PSR would have hit, right? In particular, they really seem to have it out for us after we've dodged it now twice. But I do agree. And I think it does still lie a bit of a cloud over the success that Forest are having now, because they did have to break the rules, spending, 350 million euros in the first window when they came up to do that. And we spent 80 on shite in the summer. And then, you know, in the winter, we spent £3 million on a a squad option in the right back. It's just not good enough, man. It's shocking.
Not. It's terrible. And also, you look back in the summer, our most expensive signing, Oliver Skipp, 25 million, can't even get anywhere near the team.
It's shocking.
How embarrassing
it's
is that?
Embarrassing.
This as well, yeah. I mean, the club will moan about PSR, but they did spend that on Skip, didn't they? So
yeah,
they've only got themselves to blame.
Utterly awful. And
and you gave
Connor.
Yeah, and we gave Connor Cody a contract the summer before, where if we got promoted, his salary would go up to 100 grand a week.
Oh my god!
You did that.
That's embarrassing.
It's shocking.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I just can't believe it when I saw that article. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. We just can't. That's what people say. They say, "Oh, the club will learn from their mistakes." Well, they didn't, did they? Because we had the PSR problems the year we got relegated, and then when we got relegated, we signed Winks and Cody, which again, Winks was a big part of us coming back up. I know that, but 90 grand a week on Winks, 70 which rises to 100 on Cody. And we need to remember, Cody cost £7 million as well, £8 million. So you've got those fees as well. Yeah, exactly. You know, you paid less for Tau. Well, you didn't. You had a loan fee, but you paid less for Hermanson. You paid less for Mavididi. So it's just a shambles. 70 grand in the Championship is absolutely mental. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And he didn't even end up being a crucial part of our season. He wasn't the first name on the team sheet. I mean, I think, though, our recruitment in general, when we went down to the Championship, was actually good. But there were some huge blunders, right? And in particular, what embarrasses me the most is the wages, like 70K. That is the reason we've been in all this financial trouble, right? We've had these players on massive wages that we have then been unable to offload when they haven't been performing for us. And then you're continuing that trend with someone like Connor Cody, 33 years old, 70K, 100K if we get promoted.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, you're digging your own grave. You're below 6 feet already. Stop digging, buddy. You've already killed us.
And not only that, you got a second choice or third choice keeper. You got Danny Ward and you got Daniel Everson. There are more money than Mats Hermansen, our first choice keeper. How does that work?
I don't know, man.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we are well and truly cooked. We're done for. It feels so hard for me to say this because I've always been the blindly optimistic one, but I think reality has to set in eventually, right? That it is going to have to be a rebuild, and it could take quite a while before we get back up. More though, I think we'll know more in a few weeks when we get those financials. I'll dig into them and see what I can find. But I mean, I'm scared. I'm just opening up piles of shit. It's going to be horrible to look at.
What I'm looking forward to seeing is what the wage turnover is going to be like, because ours last time was at 116%.
Yeah, I think it's definitely dropped without question with Tielemans, Maddison. There's others, Barnes,
Castagna.
Well, you'd like to think so. It can't be as high as that this time.
Yeah. It won't be, but it'll be higher than it was in the Championship. That's for sure. That's without question. Because I don't think Dewsbury Hall was on loads. Obviously, we lost Iheanacho as well. I suppose all Brighton, who was on a long term one. So it might have come down actually. It could have actually. We
have to remember, right? There is an increase in revenue, and that's the big thing as well. The increase in revenue will obviously make the wage turnover lower, but we're going down to the Championship again, so we have to adjust it to a Championship budget. That will take time, especially because how are you going to offload Connor Cody when he's on that much money at that age? It's the same issue we had years ago when players like Daka weren't firing and we weren't able to offload them. So we're making our own misery worse, and that's the problem here, right? We just keep ruining it.
Wage cap is needed. This is the problem. This is the problem, by the way, because we talk about wage caps. It would fix a lot of issues, but then you know what players are like these days. A professional footballer in 2025 will just say, "Well, I ain't coming then. If you're not going to give me the money, I won't come." What were you going to say, Ryan? Quickly.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can I just mention about the youth? I think I definitely agree with what most of your callers were saying earlier. It's about time we gave youth some youth academy put a chance. Give Jeremy Mongo an opportunity, and the other lad you just talked about, Jake Evans, I think he was. Give him an opportunity. What have you got to lose?
Yeah, what have we got to? It can't get worse. That's the thing. It's rock bottom. We can't get any worse, so just give them a chance. I completely agree with you, mate.
Yeah,
Ryan,
at least they'll give us a chance to score a goal.
100%. A bit of excitement. Yeah, I agree. Right, Ryan, thank you, mate, for waiting so long. Thanks for waiting patiently. We'll see you soon,
You're
mate.
welcome.
Cheers. See you
See you,
soon,
man.
Ryan. We were going to have Arthur next, but he's dropped out. I don't think he's coming back.
Or was Arthur going to come on?
He was going to. Yeah, Arthur, if you're watching. But Manny is here. I'm surprised he's come on. He's now the big time United stand. Leicester's Goldsbridge. I think I saw somebody call him.
Has his ego risen? We will find out.
Yes, absolutely. So here, Manny's ego. It's big enough. It didn't need to get any bigger. Here comes the Manny. Here he is. What's going on, Manny?
Ego, moi. Come on. No ego.
Hello, our
Man of
own
the people.
favorite grandpa. How are you doing, buddy?
Ah, thank you, my child. Very well. My disciple, I should call you, actually. Let's change it. Actually, I've got something for you today. Something that developed in my mind today. So, because we're already down, none of this, any more formations, what can we do to change it? Rubbish, because there's nothing we can do. Nothing that's going to change. So, I've got a new analogy for you today. So, the way that I've been thinking about it is the Premier League is like an endurance speed race. And every club is a vehicle. So what vehicle do we have in this endurance speed race? We've got some 16-wheeled truck, overweight, full of goods, slow as hell, not enough gas in the tank, and the driver...
Are we talking about Leicester or me now here, mate?
Leicester, not you, mate. I'm not. Don't make me bring up the moustache. Anyway, and we've got fat, we've got lazy, we've got slow. What we need to do is build a modern, slick, new sports car. And in order to build that sports car, what you cannot do is have lots of different designers, i.e. managers, who have their own idea about what parts to use, because you cannot integrate different parts together to make this machine efficient. So the first thing you need to do is to get your design sorted, i.e. what style of play do we want to play? And that comes from the very top, not just Top himself, but the board. And we all need to be in unison about that idea. What kind of play do we want to be? A possession-based team, but that's not really going to work in the Premier League too easily. Do we want to be a counter-attacking team because that will be more effective in the Premier League? But how are we a counter-attacking team when you're a big fish in the Championship? These are the kind of questions that you need to resolve in your mind, but you need to have that ability to be a counter-attacking, quick, powerful, athletic, technical team. There's a lot of requirements in that too. So, first thing, get your design sorted. Once you've got your design sorted, then it's about identifying the right parts. They've all got to be an average age of under 23. Under 23 average age in the Championship, that's what we need. And let this team build 40, 50, 100 games together. Even if we finish 12th in the Championship, I don't care. Give them a full season, give them another season. But as long as you get the quality of those kids right, don't worry about experience, don't worry about all the old notions. All these young players are on low wages too, because naturally they're young players. Certainly compared to the old experienced pro ones. You bring your wage bill down, you suck up short-term pain for long-term gain. But when you do get back in the Premier League, you've suddenly got a young, athletic, quick, strong team that can translate that quality into the Premier League. Plus, you have lots of room on your PSR allocation anyway. So that is the way I'd go and say it's the old-fashioned 3-year project. But that doesn't mean that we get annoyed in a year and a half because it's not working so well. We have to make a commitment as a club, as a fan base, that we are going to go youth with resale value, but they've got to be dynamic, they've got to be fast, they've got to be strong, athletic. Build that super quick team. Look what Forest are doing with Elanga and Hudson-Odoi as their wingers. You know, even if they don't have the super fast striker, the damage that those two wingers are doing and helping Wood is outstanding. So we need to go back to finding those players. The scouting, the recruitment has to be bang on. But if Man City or Real Madrid are going to steal players like Jeremy Monga from us, then why don't we go and steal some players from them? There's going to be kids that will get nowhere near the Man City first team, and they know it. Why don't we go and nick some of their kids and let them sweat about our scouting for a little bit? They're going to have kids that are going to be highly technical, well-trained, eager to play. But there's limited playing time at these big clubs. Let's go and pilfer some of their talent for once.
I think that's harder than you realize because all of them thinks that they will be the ones that make it. I think that they'll be a bit older when they realize they can, right? Your Callum Doyles maybe, or I've seen it in Copenhagen recently, right? They're focused a lot on youth. You know, they have 30-40% of their starting players be youth players, and it's only, despite them having a very good academy, the top prospects that make it. Within the past year, they've sold 3 or 4, highly rated prospects simply because while they were good, they weren't good enough. But you won't be getting these 16, 17-year-old. They still have the belief that they will cut it at the top club. But when they reach that 18, 19 or 20, when they need first team minutes in the legs, that's when you can start getting those steals, because that's when Man City will have to make the realization that they are simply not going to get the minutes here. We need to sell for something.
There are some players out there, like Mark Gray, for example. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, cheap petrol in your precision sports car. That's like what we're doing with Seagrave, right? The state-of-the-art facilities, and we've got Jordan Ayew and D. Cordova-Reid playing water polo in the swimming pool.
No, I think everybody's making a massive mistake about Seagrave. So all of you Seagrave haters out there, I think you're just looking at it on too short a time.
Well, Mark Albrighton's, out of his own mouth, he also said that there was a massive difference in the feeling around the club when the club moved to Seagrave. Mark Albrighton's.
How did Beaver Drive help us when we got relegated from the Championship into League One? Was Beaver Drive a massive asset at the time?
We're not talking about that. We're talking about the family feeling around the squad, the staff, around the club. And Mark Albrighton, who you love, Manny, Leicester legend, out of his own mouth, who experienced the good times and not quite as bad as this season, but the relegation in 2023, he experienced that. He said that.
I don't think you foster team spirit just by the venue that you do it in. It's about human beings and relationships. That can be done anywhere. It's not as if you have a club with terrible facilities or brilliant. Real Madrid have the best facilities along with us in the world. Are their players being accused of having it too fancy and they need to get some grime into them and realise that they need to earn their 250 grand a week? No, come on. The thing about Seagrave is that people are looking for instant results. It takes a lot of time to reap the benefits of a long-term project like this.
Jeremy Monga.
And my case is Jeremy Monga, Jake Evans, Henry Cartwright. There's about 3 or 4 more of them as well. It's not just those 3.
I know.
The England under 17s, 16s, 15s are now full of Leicester kids that have been developed at Seagrave. So give these kids another 3, 4, 5 years, and you will see the very first wave come through.
But you're talking about somebody who we're going to get £1 million for at a tribunal.
That's out of our control. That's the rules, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is what happens.
They have to fix those.
No, it doesn't always work out like that. We've had Harvey Barnes, Ben Chilwell come through, and they were £50 million and £40 million players too.
Beaver Drive.
Look, okay, but my point is that Seagrave itself is not a blocker to develop this high quality talent. The high quality talent, apparently, and the reports from what I've seen and the bits that I've seen, the bits that all of us have seen, we've got a really, really exciting youth team on our hands, and I don't think it's going to be the last. The chances are, if you are a brilliant youth team, you go to Seagrave, you go, if you're a father and a mother, right, you're the one that makes the decision for your 12, 13-year-old kid. And if you go to Seagrave and you go, whoa, yes, I want my boy to train. Okay, but they can't have every single kid in the world. They can have the best 20, and we could compete for a handful of the next best 20. My point is that you can't question better facilities being inhibiting you. If it is, then it's a problem with yourself. It's not a problem with the facilities. You need to find other ways to garnish team spirit or get that realism into the players or get the mentality right. I see that as an excuse. What we are seeing with Seagrave is the first wave come through, and when they come through, it's not going to be a usual wave. It's not like a bunch of relatively low talented kids. We are talking potential international players and superstars on our hands. So let's see if that does materialise. I'm making a lot of suppositions there. So let's see if that happens.
Shortly, it's a bit of a mix of both, right? Because I think Albrighton's claims are very fair, and that there's most likely some family feeling that gets lost when you move into this very corporate, multi-billion, or £100 million facilities. But I don't think it's a hindrance. I think it's also something to do with the team we had in and around that time at Boulevard Drive, right? That was the period of success when it was all about the group coming together. It's not that energy anymore, and I think that's some of it as well, right? So you can't only put it on the training ground, and I think what we need to realize as well is those training grounds, especially in the situation we are currently in, is one of our huge selling factors that we have elite state-of-the-art facilities.
I saw that Brendan Rodgers, I saw an article recently where Brendan Rodgers even he asked, not even 12 months after the training ground was built, he wanted big glass windows to be put on the front near the car park. Because I think he could sense that feeling was going. Because the reason he wanted that, it said in the article, he wanted players that are leaving to go home to see through these glass windows. Oh, there's a few staff members in there. Let's go in and have a chat. I think it's a problem, Manny. I really do. And you're the one who always speaks about these players like Marcus Rashford. They've made it.
Let me flip it on to you. You're Locks the footballer, and you play for Leicester City. If you train at Beaver Drive or you train at Seagrave, does it make a difference to your attitude?
Probably subconsciously, yes.
Then we shouldn't sign you. Then you've got the wrong mentality, and we shouldn't sign players like you. You've got to be. It doesn't matter where you play. You play on broken glass and dog shit. It doesn't matter. You've got to have that mentality that I'm here to develop my own game, if nothing else, and ideally as part of this team. And you've got to be on it. You should be inspired by Seagrave. Not be sort of thinking, oh blimey, this is too nice for me. I'd rather go back to a dump. That's the wrong mentality. If you want
Manny,
to raise,
if you want to
raise, what I'm saying is, if you want to raise the level of the club as a whole, then infrastructure has to go with that. The stadium needs to be as good as it can be. Around the stadium, the facilities, the training facilities, the quality of player, the quality of staff, the quality of everything needs to improve. You can't make an argument about going backwards. We're supposed to be a club whose business model is developing youth, right? So if we want to develop youth are going to want the best facilities. Best quality youth will want the best facilities. So it's not a problem with Seagrave. It just takes time to filter through. And I can see some people in the chat saying, look, okay, we'll have to wait 5 years for it. Yeah, we will. Yeah, okay. But when it hits, then in theory, of course, life isn't a steady gradient upwards. It's ups and downs. But as long as the trend keeps continuing that way, then we can rebuild into a club that is a solid Premier League team again, potentially pushing for those European spots and beyond.
I personally think that the only club that will benefit from Seagrave are the likes of Man City, who are going to come along and say, thank you very much, we'll take him. I'm not saying that it won't improve the quality of play that you develop, but there's no the only evidence, Manny, so far is that we're a worse team than we were before we went in.
Again, but that's a correlation. That's not causation. There's two different things. There's you're linking apples and oranges. It's different.
Mark O'Brien's words, mate.
Mark O'Brien said he hated Enzo, but Enzo was brilliant for this club. I'm not doubting Mark Albright. He's a brilliant pro, and I'm sure there's a lot of validity, and I'd love to explore those arguments more with him.
But one right discussion, man.
One person will say one thing, one person will say another thing. When you listen, if you talk to Jeremy Monga, let's say Jeremy Monga goes to Man City, ask him in 5 years what he thought about Seagrave. He'll tell you, brilliant place to learn, play football. Brilliant place. What a foundation I got.
I would rather train at Seagrave. I'm not saying that. I would rather train at Seagrave, mate. But I'm saying I think it would subconsciously affect you. I think it would.
It might be the case, but you can resolve that. My point is that you can do other things. You can do other things to help foster team spirit, and that's down to the manager. That's one of the manager's job. Is if anybody has that kind of attitude, is you've got to stamp that out, and you've got to make sure you have that togetherness.
Doc, final words.
Final words. Thank you for coming on, Manny, creating a bit of a discussion. Good to have our own Mike Goldbridge on the show, right?
Well, we've got a lot of time in the summer to talk about things like this. We'll have a lot of time on our hands, so we will talk about things like this. Trust me, we will have these specialized shows where we talk about certain things. Doc, who is your caller of the day? I'll let you pick, mate.
I think it has to be Craig for coming in there with the American view. I liked his opinions on, the more open financials and the slight bit of optimism he showed, even if he was joking about, we'll have a clean slate for our next games, win them all. It was good to just have some blind optimism, even if it was a joke for 5 seconds, because we need a bit of that at this point.
I'm going to give caller of the day to Leicester's very own Mark Goldbridge, taking time out of his busy schedule to come in.
I'm busy.
If anybody missed it, go to the United Stand channel, and it's the one that's called Countdown from yesterday. 59 minutes, I think I said it was 59 minutes in. Manny was on there. He had a chat with them, so go and check that out.
And a big thank you to you, Lox, and the BTG team for allowing me to represent the channel on your behalf. Big thanks to all of you guys. Really appreciate this chat. The guys at Foss Hub before as well. Thanks to everybody. It was nice to get on the Big Boys channel. But look, we'll be back.
Yes, for sure. Right. Thank you to all the callers. Thank you to Doc. Thanks to Manny. Thanks to everybody in the comments section. Much appreciated. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to hit subscribe. Tomorrow we will have the match day vlog coming out at 10 a.m. So stay tuned for that. There's a lot more coming as well. I'll tweet about that. But cheers all. Have a good evening. See you soon.
See ya.
Bye bye.